What's a kiss?
Oh, well, I'll show you.
Peter Pan is a soaring fantasy, a celebration of eternal youth, flying, and adventure.
There's no better time to start.
Yet, beneath the pixie dust lies a profound, deeply unsettling narrative about the psychological terror of amnesia, the destructive nature of self-absorption, the ultimate rejection of maturity, existential threat of a land without time or rules. Viewer discretion is highly advised. We are taking a terrifying trip to Neverland to uncover 10 dark secrets that will shock you about the film's complex, mature, and deeply disturbing subtext. Let's begin. Dark psychological and ethical conflicts. 1. Peter Pan's destructive narcissism and amnesia. Peter Pan is not a benevolent leader. He is a textbook case of destructive narcissism and psychological immaturity. His defining trait is his utter inability to form stable attachments or maintain memory of past events or people. This psychological amnesia is essential to his eternal youth. He must constantly forget the past to avoid the responsibility of growing up. He views every event and person, especially Wendy and the Lost Boys, as existing solely to serve his ego and his need for adventure. Refusal to accept reality is so profound that it becomes a form of emotional tyranny, demanding that everyone around him operate according to his own unstable, childish logic. Peter's denial of maturity is a psychological defense against the painful realities of love, loss, and death. But that state requires him to be eternally self-centered, too. The Lost Boys, the tragedy of forgotten children. The Lost Boys represent a profound, deeply unsettling tragedy. Children who were literally abandoned or forgotten by their parents and have been condemned to a life of eternal, aimless play. They are a community of trauma, clinging to Peter Pan, their dysfunctional, emotionally unavailable father figure. They lack any identity of their own, existing only as Peter's enthusiastic echoes, and requiring a mother, Wendy, to perform basic maternal duties, like telling stories and sewing. Their inability to remember their own past, deep collective psychological trauma, a massive, forced amnesia of their previous lives. The film subtly hints at the dark, uncomfortable reality that some children never return from Neverland. They are forever suspended in a state of dependent, unexamined existence, their potential entirely lost. 3. Captain Hook's calculated malice and obsession. Captain Hook's villainy is rooted in an obsessive, unrelenting fixation on Peter Pan, driven less by malice and more by a desperate need for personal validation and revenge. Hook's entire existence is defined by a deep physical injury and the constant, ticking threat of Death the Crocodile. This makes him a tragic figure of perpetual anxiety and physical mutilation, seeking to regain control by destroying the source of his trauma, Peter. His malice is therefore calculated and existential, a desperate attempt to stop the metaphorical clock of his own mortality. He represents the dark, physical consequences of childhood recklessness, Peter's, and his sophisticated, adult fury is fueled by the humiliation of being defeated by a mere boy. He is the grown-up who desperately needs to defeat the childhood memory, biological realities, and the dark laws of nature. 4. Neverland as a world without consequences or morality. Neverland is not a paradise. It is a terrifying, chaotic environment where the laws of nature, morality, and consequence have utterly collapsed. Time does not pass, and death is a constant, yet meaningless, threat. Peter's ability to avoid this lack of consequence is psychologically dangerous, encouraging recklessness, violence, the constant mock warfare, and emotional irresponsibility. The inhabitants are trapped in a state of eternal childhood, a perpetual holding pattern that prevents any meaningful progress, development. The film suggests that absolute freedom from rules leads not to joy, but to profound, meaningless chaos. Neverland is a dark, philosophical warning. A life without consequence is a life without purpose. which is why the darlings must escape to preserve their humanity. 5. The profound isolation of Tinker Bell. Tinker Bell's character highlights the profound isolation and self-destructive toxicity that can arise from unmanaged attachment and emotional dependence. She is pathologically devoted to Peter Pan, but her small size and inability to speak her to communicate through flares of light, symbolizing her inability to express her complex emotions in a functional, healthy way. Her intense jealousy of Wendy is a raw, dark portrayal of unchecked possessiveness and emotional immaturity. She is driven to an act of attempted murder, lost boys to shoot Wendy out of fear of abandonment. Tinker Bell's entire existence is a volatile reaction to Peter's neglect, making her a tragic figure whose life force pixie dust is tied to the emotional whims of a narcissistic child. 6. Mr. Darling's crisis of failed masculinity and authority. Mr. Darling's character, the girl's father, represents a deep, central crisis of failed masculine authority and paternal competence in the structured Edwardian world. He is obsessed with dignity, finance, and control the lock and chain on dog's collar, yet he is perpetually humiliated and easily destabilized by his own children's innocence and imagination. He is an adult tyrant whose power is fragile and rooted in insecurity. His inability to understand or tolerate the children's imaginative world, to seek refuge in Neverland. Mr. Darling's eventual decision to move Nana's doghouse inside is his moment of redemption, an emotional admission that true maturity requires accepting the irrationality of love and imagination, a lesson learned only after nearly losing his children. The threat of civilization and the ending. 7. Tiger Lily and the problematic portrayal of the other. The portrayal of Tiger Lily and the Native American tribe in Peter Pan carries a deeply uncomfortable and problematic colonial subtext. They are depicted as a stylized, primitive people who exist solely to be captured, rescued, serve as exotic background players in the boys' adventures. Their characterization relies heavily on stereotypes, reducing a complex culture to war dances and simplistic conflict. The entire interaction between the Lost Boys and the tribe is a form of cultural appropriation played as a game. Film uses them as interchangeable others whose purpose is to provide an external threat fighting or reward celebration for the white heroes. This element serves as a dark reminder of the era's pervasive prejudices, framing the native population as less human and more as a fixture of fantasy landscape. 8. The ultimate rejection of responsibility and love. Peter Pan's final decision to remain in Neverland is not a triumph of freedom. It is an ultimate rejection of responsibility, growth, and the profound, demanding nature of adult love. He refuses to enter the darling's home. Into that structured world means accepting the limitations of time and the finality of commitment. His choice is a heartbreaking act of emotional cowardice, leaving behind the one person, Wendy, who genuinely tried to give him a stable life. This highlights the tragedy of arrested development. Choice to live a meaningless, repetitive existence rather than risk the pain of mature love and loss. Peter Pan remains forever a lonely boy, doomed to eternal, self-imposed emotional isolation. 9. Wendy's necessary sacrifice of fantasy. Wendy's entire journey is a crucial, painful transition from childhood fantasy to the acceptance of impending adulthood. She goes to Neverland seeking to maintain her childhood role as storyteller and caretaker, but she quickly realizes that Peter Pan's world is a dead end. Her return is a necessary, painful sacrifice. She gives up her magical freedom for the emotional depth and structure of her family and future. Her final vision of the pirate ship sailing by the moon, witnessed by her parents, confirms that she has processed and mastered fantasy. Wendy's journey is the moral core of the film, proving that true courage lies not in flying, but in choosing the difficult, complex reality of growing up. 10. Neverland's dangerous promise of immortality. Neverland's core promise of immortality and eternal youth is revealed to be the film's most dangerous psychological trap. While it sounds appealing, this eternal stasis means no growth, no change, no progress, and eventually, no memory. Time is a life without meaning, making the inhabitants psychological zombies, endlessly repeating the same conflicts. The land offers freedom from death, but condemns its residents to a form of psychological death. Wendy saves her brothers John and Michael not just from Hook, terrifying, meaningful oblivion. The film subtly argues that the beauty and value of life are inherently tied to its finite nature. Escaping Neverland is escaping an existential nightmare, a world where every day is the same, and therefore, no day truly matters. Conclusion: so, these were 10 dark secrets of Peter Pan. The film's true genius lies in its profound exploration of narcissism, the psychological terror of eternal childhood, and its piercing look at the difficulty of growing up. This animated masterpiece is a complex reflection on freedom, memory, and the necessary loss of innocence. Which dark truth about Peter Pan's self-centered world shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments. Please like and subscribe for more deep dive cinematic secrets.
There is no path through water to the happy hunting.
Thank you for watching, and remember,